For the split squat or any lunge, the first variation is more of a static variation because once you start to add in forwards and backwards movement, you actually make it harder. So if you can't control that split squat or that static lunge, you need to start there. Even with moves like the balance lunge where you're increasing range of motion, you're actually making that static lunge or that split squat more challenging. So you want to make sure that you've mastered that movement first. So when we're thinking about that split squat, you almost want to think about that half kneeling position. You want to think about that knee over that ankle, that back knee about underneath that hip, and that back foot is flexed. You're thinking about driving through the ball of your back foot and your front heel to actually drive straight up and then come back down, okay? You don't want your weight shifting forward or back, so just that one movement is a great way to really see where your weight is centered. If you can't come down to the ground, you can always use a block or something to decrease the range of motion because you want to focus on strengthening through the fullest range of motion you can. And by starting in that ground position or the bottom position, not only do you take away any momentum to make sure your weight is centered, but you can really assess where your weight is. Because it's not that lunges cause knee pain, but what happens is our weight shifts forward and that puts more load on the quad. So if you can handle that, if you don't have knee aches and pains, you might even want to use a more quad dominant lunge variation at certain times, but a lot of times keeping that more vertical shin angle or that knee right over the ankle, that can help you load that front glute, make sure your weight is centered, make sure you're not putting any force forward. Also make sure you're not shifting your weight forward onto the ball of your foot, which is what puts more strain on the knee. So to modify the movement, think about adding a block underneath, but really think, is my weight centered when I'm starting down? Is that back glute squeezed? Am I driving through the front heel, the ball of the foot? Can I go straight up with my weight centered? Can I come straight back down, okay? Modifying by using the block to reduce the range of motion. You can, of course, start top down, but again, it doesn't allow you to really feel that starting position. Once you're ready then, you can come and set up here. Again, even thinking, can I set up at the bottom position? And it's not always pretty setting up at the bottom position, but can I set up at the bottom position, get my weight centered? Can I drive straight up? And then can I come straight back down? Okay? Because once we start to get that shift forward or back, we're not using everything correctly. And it's not just the movement pattern that we want to dial in, but also that recruitment pattern.